네, 안녕하십니까. 예스유학의 김동민 이사라고 합니다. 네, 오늘 미들섹스 학교 입학처장 모시고 설명이 시작하도록 하겠습니다. 아마 이제 중간중간에 들어오신 분들이 계실 텐데 일단 뭐 웨비나니까 누가 들어와도 나가도 잘 모르기 때문에 저희가 진행하는 동안에 뭐 들어오시면 들어오는 대로 어, 봐주시면 될 것 같고요. 일단 어차피 저희가 이제 들어오셔도 어, 목소리하고 비디오는 저희가 철저하게 설정을 해놔서요. 아마 보이실 필요 없고요. 말씀드린 이유 중에 하나가 이제 이게 녹음이 되고 있기 때문에 혹시라도 나중에 늦게 들어오셔서 앞부분을 못 봤어요라고 하시는 분들은 저희 예수약에 연락 주셔서 신청해 주시면 저희가 다시 다 보내드리고 하니까요. 다 못 보셨다고 하더라도 나중에 저희한테 연락 주시면 저희가 녹음본이나 이런 걸 드리도록 하겠습니다. 이제 시작하기 전에 몇 가지 유의사항 말씀드리도록 하겠습니다. 첫 번째는, 중간에 진행하면서 아무래도 이게 라이브로 하다 보니까 아무래도 좀 문제 소지가 있을 수 있어서요. 그 부분, 인지 부탁드리도록 하고요. 그리고 중간중간에 이제 저희가 실시간에 뭐 모든 월드 바이 월드로 통역해 드리는 건 아닌데, 통역을 하다가 이제 얘기가 길어지거나 저희가 전혀 익스펙트 하지 못하는 일이 생기면 자연스럽게 양해 부탁드리도록 하고요. 그래서 오늘 통역을 도와줄 우리 신재민 과장 인사 한번 해주시고요. 네, 그리고 이 모든 걸 코디네이트 해주고 연락이랑 이런 거 하는 거를 이제 윌리엄 선생님이 담당했습니다. 그래서
안녕하세요.
네, 네, 그 회사 마스코트이고 그래서 저희가 시작할 수 있도록 하고 Q&A 세션이나 이런 것들은 정확하게 나중에 저희한테 문의 주시면 저희가 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 그래서 아무래도 실시간으로 하다 보면 이 질문 받고 답변하고 이렇게 하는 게 쉽지 않아서 그 점 다시 양해 부탁드리도록 하고요. 만약에 이제 Q&A나 questions or 이런 게 있으시면 저희가 다시 과장한테 물어보고 전달하는 방식으로 할 테니까 그렇게 생각해 주시면 될 것 같습니다. So, Sherry, how are you?
Good, I'm doing very well.
Uh, why don't you start introduce yourself and then we'll go from there.
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on this admissions webinar from Middlesex Admissions. So, a little bit of information about me. My name is Starry Drew. I was born and raised in China, and I went to Hong Kong for college, and also taught English in Hong Kong for 5 years before I moved to the US for grad school. And after grad school, I started working in boarding schools myself. I worked in a different boarding school for 5 years, and now it's my third year at Middlesex. So at Middlesex, my main responsibilities are the Associate Dean of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and also admissions. And next year, I'll be also taking over global programming. So if anybody has questions about like international trips or exchange programs, I can help with that in the end. Roles and titles. I also coach girls cross country in the fall. We are New England and ISL champion team this year. So if your kid is interested in running, Middlesex will be a great place for that. And I also live in a dorm. I'm a dorm parent in a girls' dorm of 27 students. As a matter of fact, I am doing double duty tonight. I'm actually currently on dorm duty, and you can see this is my dorm, Dorm Higginson. And if we go a little bit closer, you can see some students studying here in this little study space. Okay, we do not rehearse. Yes, they are just this friendly. Great. So yes, Jamie, I think that's plenty for you to translate for now. We're moving along. Yes, this image that you are looking at right now is our main academic building. It's called Elliott Hall, named after a Harvard president who was kind of a patron for Middlesex. And if you ever get to visit our campus, right, this is exactly where you're going to park, and you're going to walk through those doors, and our receptionist will greet you, and you will be guided towards one of our waiting rooms and have an interview. So remember this building with the bell tower. That's our main building on campus. And if we can go to the next slide, please.
Did you want to play the video
Great.
or did you want to go over what the video will include first?
Oh, yes, I can briefly talk about this video. Video is probably from 3 years ago. So I did overlap with some of the kids featured in this video, and most of the faculty are still a part of Middlesex until this day. And the reason why I really want to highlight this video is because um, you just get to see how beautiful and lively the campus is and how close-knit our community is. And hear in very simple and plain words what the essence of Middlesex is about. So, yep.
Just lock eye contact with the camera. All right.
There it is. Okay. There's some special quality that's in the walls itself of this place.
Met so many people that have just like helped me along my way throughout my 4 years, and I couldn't be more grateful.
The essence of Middlesex is just the depth of the connections.
I'm here because of the people. I love my students. I love my colleagues.
I love that the passion and commitment and curiosity that kids bring to the classroom every day.
Everyone's very much so supportive of you trying your own things and finding your own path.
This is a challenging school. I mean, we're always pushing ourselves to be our best in, academics and sports and arts.
How can you be someone who is a lifelong learner? It's how can you challenge yourself in areas that you didn't even know that you were interested in?
It's a place where students can shine and develop.
Everyone has different interests, and I think that's what makes the school so rich.
Middlesex is a place where you feel like you can do everything you want to. Everyone has talent, and there's space here for everyone to demonstrate that talent.
You can do pretty much anything that you want, and that's a really important thing for students and for adults.
They have the chance to stretch and to find this new passion that they didn't even know existed.
Find the commonalities and sort of share our humanity with each other.
They care for us, not just as students, but as people.
Our students work really well together. They work really well with adults. The adults work really well together, and the adults work really well with students. I have such a strong support system of faculty, whether that's my advisor, whether that's my teachers. The way that they give to this community, you can tell that they love it.
The adults and the students really buy into the community together.
It's kind of the beauty of being at Middlesex is that if I am doing something, I know that people are going to show up to support me.
We are a community of individuals who are all in, and we want you to be all in with us.
You will find good friends, but you'll also discover athletic and intellectual potential in yourself you didn't know you had.
What can you give back? And what can others give to you to enrich your experience? I mean, that's Middlesex.
It's the place where you can find not only your promise, but your passion.
You're going to be known, you're going to be needed, but most importantly, you're going to feel like you belong here.
And there is definitely a place for you and a place to succeed.
You can be whoever you want to be, Middlesex.
I know people always say like time flies when you're having fun, but that's literally what it was.
Yeah, that's
Awesome.
good.
Great.
Bond, the community, the possibility of expanding your horizon and finding your interest that you never thought you could. Did I include everything?
Yes, basically that's the magic of Middlesex, right?
Okay.
So we have this known and needed model. You can say that we have like a lot of other independent schools or boarding schools in the US or in New England, right, offer rigorous academic programs or challenging arts or athletic programs. However, being in a community, right, like Middlesex, where you develop a deep and rich and a meaningful relationship with everyone in your life, right? That's something you don't get elsewhere. One of my favorite saying from our students is that Middlesex makes their world so small and so big at the same time. And I can use some stats to illustrate that point when we move on to the next slide. All right. So here's Middlesex at a glance. We are a community of 425 students, obviously from 9th grade to 12th grade. We are 75% boarding, 25% day, and 12% are international students. So looking at these stats here, right, we are on the smaller end for boarding schools in the US or in New England specifically. However, the the depth and the variety of diversity is incredible on campus, right? That goes back to what I mentioned about how Middlesex makes your world so much bigger. I'm again looking at the three students that we just said hi to. One is from Finland, one's from Austria, another one is from New York City. Or I probably will never be able to. Well, at least before I came to Middlesex, I've never talked to anybody from Finland. I didn't know their culture. I didn't know what kind of food they eat. I didn't know what high school dances were like in Finland and how that's different from American high school dances. But because you are immersed in such an incredibly diverse community by any metrics out there, your world has become bigger. And going back to the small, close-knit, intimate community piece, right? Everyone knows each other so well. You are not just known as, oh, that's a kid who is good at math. Oh, that's a kid who plays soccer. But you are known as a living, breathing human being, right? Who has a lot of beautiful, sparkling points and who may also have some flaws. And of course, you are very much cared for by our faculty, every single faculty member here on campus. So I do think Middlesex is this magical place that again offers you an incredibly diverse and interesting environment. At the same time, you feel like this is always your home. So in terms of 11 Korean students, right, we're talking about international Korean students here at Middlesex. It's not a very high number. It is very difficult to get in. I have to own up to it. However, we have a big commitment to the Korean market, and we've heard loud and clear from our Korean alumni and parent associations that we do want to expand our Korean population at Middlesex, which is one of the reasons I went to Korea back in January, and I will be coming back in December. And of course, more details will come out later, and hopefully I'll be able to see you all in person. And another thing that I personally really love as a young faculty member about Middlesex is that we're so close to Boston. So 40 kilometers here on the slide, and it takes me 40 minutes to drive to Boston, even on a bad day. Right, think about this. We're 40 minutes away from Logan Airport. There's direct flight from Seoul to Boston. Students, right, if they are craving for any kind of Korean food, it's only 30 minutes away. We do have a Seoul Kitchen restaurant, which is 10 minutes away, but it's very much American Korean food. And another thing that I want to highlight is about AP courses that we offer here at Middlesex. We are a very proud AP school, and right now it is our second AP week. We offer everything from AP Art History to, of course, AP BC Calculus, right? So most students do not get to take AP courses before 11th grade, their junior year. However, for most of our students who do take AP courses, more than 95% of them are getting 4s and 5s in AP exams. So that really shows like how rigorous our academic curriculum is. Great. Awesome. So on this slide, I'm trying to elaborate on some of the features of our community. First one is the warmth and cohesiveness of a community. You've heard how our students and faculty members fondly talk about our community of just like amazing, genuinely kind human beings who are deeply rooted in your success, right? And it also goes to the fourth bullet point, the positive peer culture. As you all know, right, can get sometimes very competitive, overly competitive in these boarding schools, which may take a toll on our students' mental health. However, based on our data from no matter if it's a college counseling's office or a mental health office, we are not uniquely in terms of like outstanding on that front, even though we are a very high achieving school. So we are really focused on students' individual growth instead of how much they're standing out compared to their peers. Right, like it's so common, again, being a dorm parent to see, right, kids helping each other with their math questions, kids helping each other proofread their English essays. So it's a really collaborative learning environment. And also going back to the second bullet point, academic excellence, Middlesex is known as academic powerhouse out there on the street. Okay, this is anecdotal. You probably should not quote me on this, but I do want to share this story. So last year, one of our seniors matriculated to Harvard. And after he got in, he went into Harvard's admissions office to get his admissions profile application. And so that's what he told us after he came back to visit the campus. So at Harvard, every single student's high school's academic rigor is rated on a scale from 1 to 5. 1 being the hardest, most rigorous, right? It's super tough to succeed there. 5 being the least academically rigorous. And what he saw on his application was that Middlesex was given a score of -2. So we are two degrees beyond its scale in terms of academic rigor, right? So yeah, it's tough to get an A. It's so much more difficult to get an A in our curriculum than to get a 5 on an AP test. That's how sometimes we might think like we're over preparing our students for college or for the world out there. And for the incoming students, right? You might see your very first B or B plus in your first semester at Middlesex. But again, that's not the end of the world. And that's just what a high standard that we hold our students to. In the next, like probably 5 or 10 minutes, I'm going to highlight 3 of our school signature programs, which are mindfulness, writing workshop, and also advising program. Can I ask if there's a word by word to word translation for mindfulness in Korean?
Yes, there it is, right below.
Yes. Oh my God. Okay, because there's no in Chinese. And it was really hard for me to explain that term to our Chinese parents, even though I speak Chinese. Okay, great. So
if you just gotta add more stuff to it, just let me know, and then I'm right here.
Okay. Great. Okay. So for mindfulness program, for those of you who are not familiar with this term mindfulness, basically it's a way for you to non-judgmentally accept and recognize your feelings and emotions and thoughts and living in the present. So it is a movement originated in Buddhist culture, and then it has arrived in the US. And interestingly, in Worcester, which is the second biggest city in Massachusetts. And at Middlesex, we're so committed to the mindfulness program. We have an office, we have a director of mindfulness, and every single student, no matter if you come in as a 9th grader or 10th grader, you take a semester-long course on introduction to mindfulness. And as a faculty member, I voluntarily participate in mindfulness program. It's been my 3rd year. So basically every week for 40 minutes, I go to one of the blocks that's offered, and we have a check-in and we practice in most commonly in the form of meditation. And the reason why we are so pro mindfulness as a community, as a school, is because it's been scientifically proven that it helps students improve their concentration and focus, improves their quality of sleep. It helps them reduce their stress and anxiety and depression levels. So basically, it's a proactive way to address the mental health crisis that we're seeing in our teenagers these days across the globe, so that we're not taking a reactive approach, right? When a student is having a tough moment, we're connecting them with a counselor. Instead, we are empowering them with this tool so that they can use it whenever they need it. Great. This slide is about our writing workshop program. So a lot of schools claim that they teach English well, but they don't teach it as well as us. Case in point, a lot of our alumni graduate and become writers and journalists, novelists, and very recently, last year, an alumni came back whose name is Pat Stevens, and he currently is a New York Times columnist and also Pulitzer Prize winner. And he went to University of Chicago after Middlesex. However, on the stage, he proclaimed that he learned how to write well at Middlesex instead of at UChicago. So yes, and how we help our students do that, right? So every single student takes a full year of English course, no matter which grade you are in. And so curriculum is pretty standardized. So 9th graders take the same thing, introduction to prose and poetry and creative writing. And in 10th grade, on top of your regular English curriculum, right, you might be reading Pride and Prejudice, Macbeth. You also take this writing workshop which is a separate class that teaches you how to write, how to structure a good piece of writing on the sentence, paragraph, and whole text level. So there's a lot of grammar practices. We put a lot of attention into, right, vocabulary, choice of words, and of course, like how do you prove a point and how do you use citations in different systems, and how you basically reach a clarity in terms of your teaching and writing. And so the writing workshop course in 10th grade is a pass or fail course. Right. So we don't want our students, there's no perfect piece of writing out there. We don't want our students to spend 10 extra hours to get an A or A plus in that course, but you really just have to master the basic fundamental skills of analytical and expository writing. And yeah, after that, it really help our students lay a really solid foundation in English writing, and all 11th graders take AP English. So that's a standard curriculum as well. And all our 11th graders sit in both AP English language and AP English literature exam. Thank you. The last one is our advising program, right? Some of you might be wondering, oh, like there is advising programs everywhere, right? There's my child has an advisor right now. But what is unique about our advising program at Middlesex is that we do individual advising, right? It's not a group advising. So each advisor, so I'm an advisor myself. I have 6 advisees. So our advisory sizes are pretty small, maximum 6 students, minimum, right? 3 to 4 students. And the expectation is that we sit down and meet with each of our advisees for a full 40-minute block every week. Right. So those 40 minutes is again just for that one student, whatever is on their mind, whatever issues they might have, whatever stories they want to share with me. That's their sacred time. And through weekly 40-minute meetings, that's how we develop a really trustworthy and a close relationship with our advisees. So advisors serve as the first contact person for both the student as well as the family. Right. So maybe mom and dad back in Korea will be like, oh, why is my kid getting like a 75 in their biology test? If you really want to know what is happening with your kid, instead of writing directly to the biology teacher, right, you contact the advisor. Oh, I'm a little bit concerned about this grade that my child recently just got. Can you help me understand why? So, like the advisor really has the 360-degree view on the student. The biology teacher might not know, but the advisor probably would know that, oh, the kid is stressed about a game, so that they did not sleep well that night, right? Or this kid is dealing with some friendship fallouts, and which has been weighing on their mind, and again, that's impacting their academic performance. So yes, like I think through this kind of almost like one-stop shop way to guide and also support the students as well as the family is something that we're really proud of, and it's also something that has worked really well at Middlesex. Just on the advising program, one more thing. Every Thursday morning, we have faculty meeting between 8 to 9. Students have a sleep in themselves, and we talk about students. So advisors and sometimes subject teachers too would submit names, right? Like, oh, my advisee is experiencing these issues. Are all his teachers or all their teachers seeing them as well? So again, we talk about kids so much all together as a faculty, so that we want to make sure nobody's falling through the cracks, because there are so many pairs of eyes on every single kid. Great. For the last part of the presentation, I'll be talking about the fit, right? Like, what are we looking for in our students? At the same time, we want to make sure that all the families and students understand that it's a two-way selection, right? Not only that we are selecting the kids we think that would do the best at Middlesex, we also want to make sure that all the families know very clearly, right? This is what Middlesex can offer, so that you can make the best decision, the most well-informed decisions yourselves. Yes. So here are the things that we really try to tease out and evaluate in the admissions process through the interview, through all the essays that you write, through the teacher recommendations that we asked from your school or other references. So first of all, character. At Middlesex, we value, we have a saying, it's called CKC. So curiosity, kindness, and courage, right? So we're not just looking for the smartest kid and the strongest athletes out there, but we are looking for kids who are so invested in the community. Right, we want students who are willing to come downstairs and have a chat with me at 10:15, which is our late check-in time, instead of taking a private tutoring class in their dorm room, right? And we want, of course, kids who will support each other. So in whatever different ways, if you can highlight what kind of community-oriented person you are. Of course, we don't want you to, if you're not this kind of person, you can completely be honest with yourself too. And maybe Middlesex is not the best fit, right? In that sense. But it would be great if you can highlight how actively engaged and involved you are in the community. And it doesn't have to be your school community, right? Your neighborhood, your family, that's a small community unit as well. And secondly is intellectual curiosity. We hope that our students are not just learning for the grades, for the AP scores, for SATs, or for the colleges they're going to get into, right? We hope our students will be long-term learners who are driven by intrinsic motivation. You are just so interested in knowing the hows and whys and the whats, right? Regardless of the outcome and the end goal there. So again, right, of course, we love gold medals, we love high GPAs, but again, at the same time, I would say spend some more time thinking about what you're really passionate about, right? I would love to hear how you go to the pond next to your house or your school and observed how how the organisms work developed in the pond over the summer, then just I got this math Olympic medal, right, through whatever a tutoring center. So yes, make sure that you are able to tell a story and show that you are invested in the learning process, not just the outcome. And lastly, right, we're a small school. We have a lot of excellent programs that we need to support, from theater to our chamber orchestra, for all the athletic teams, and different ways that you can lead and contribute and serve a community, right? So please also make sure to highlight that. We completely understand that not every single student has access to the sports that we offer in New England or the arts programs, but again, different ways that you are willing to and have given back to the community. We'd love to see that as well. Great. And then on the right-hand side, here's the list of the materials that you need to submit as part of your application. So we do require standardized testing. We take SSAT, we take ICEE. We also require TOEFL if you haven't studied in an international school or a school in the US for more than 3 years in a row. So our TOEFL, I guess the threshold is around 110, and I would say most of our students, because we don't offer programs for English language learners, most of our students are scoring above 115. And for SSATs, our medium SSAT percentile is 80. For mostly international students, we're looking at 95 percentile or above. But again, if you're I scored a 92 percentile, right? It doesn't mean you should not apply, right? We are looking at, we'll never, I can say that with full confidence and transparency, we will never decline a student just because their SSAT score is, right, 92 percentile. So it is really, we do holistic evaluation, right? If you say, your verbal score is a little bit lower, let me take a look at your writing sample. Let me take a look at your English grades, right? The same thing with your academic performance of a transcripts. We're mostly looking at students who are getting straight A's in middle schools, but if you have a B or you sometimes even have a C, right, because of family circumstances or anything else, we're trying to see if there's anything else in your application that can help justify that grade. Right? If you get a glowing rec from your most recent math teacher, we're like, oh, a C in 6th grade probably is not that much big of a deal, right? So again, you will never be rejected for a single data point. I think it's very important for families to know, which means, right, you do not have to take the TOEFL the 5th time to improve your score by 2 points. The same thing for SATs as well. However, right, going back to academic performance, you do have to put in the effort day in and day out at your school. Getting an A on your transcript means so much more to us than just the relatively higher standardized testing score. And the last 2 points of recommendations in writing, right? So from those things, we're again looking at students' academic abilities as well as character. So while you do not really have control over the recommendations because they're supposed to be confidential and straight from your teachers, but again, it tells you should start thinking about what kind of citizen you are, what kind of peer, what kind of student, what kind of leader you are in your school community way before the application actually starts. Lastly, yes, we do require a writing sample just to see where your writing is and if you will be able to handle our curriculum. Great. I believe, yes, that's the end of my presentation.
Well
Thank you, Jamie. You're one of the best translators I've ever worked with.
Oh, thank you. I'm very proud.
Yes. Oh, awesome.
She's been doing that from starting last year, so now we can't replace her because she's the expert now. So
I'm the one and only.
I know. I'm like, I need to hire you when I'm in Korea. I'm just kidding.
Yes.
Great. I'll just
We'll
hang out with you when I'm in Korea. Yes. All right.
do it for free.
Yes. Other questions that I can answer, either from families or from the team?
Usually I said it in front in Korean, so maybe you didn't hear it, but it creates a lot of problems and then we have to wait and then, so I already told them if you have any questions, feel free to talk to us and email us or contact us and then we gather it together and then send it back to you so that you could have their questionnaire and then we can at least talk to them and how they think and then double check on someone. So we'll follow up with that if that's okay with you.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
So, I mean, thank you so much for time today. And, I'm
Doing
pretty sure
double duty.
a lot of our current parents and then junior boarders or then new parents are, they were actually dying to know more about, Middlesex. And I'm pretty sure these families are coming towards to, you say you're coming back in December, right? So I think
December, yes.
they'll probably in the reception and so that, hearing almost similar thing, but at the same time see you in person. That's how we actually design this too. So thank you so much. And then you could, it's late time, but you could log out and then we'll finish it from here. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
That's
Star.
all.
Yes. Looking forward to seeing you in person next time.
Yeah, see you this year.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Bye.